Yo, what's up? It's your boy Dapper Don. You are now tuned into the Dapper Don Podcast. That wasn't the right sound effect. Hold on, here we go. Not that. Okay, whatever. Hey, let's turn it up anyway. Yeah, let's go. Hey, man, you is now tuned into the Dapper Don Podcast, bro. The number one podcast in hip-hop, and you already know who the boy is, man. I've been getting it. I've been doing this, man. And, you know, we back at it like crack addicts. I don't even know if people say that anymore, but I'm saying it. And I want to run down a few topics for you today. Just a couple of things that I saw within the culture that I said we got to address this. We got to really talk about it. We got to really give it a look over. We got Jadakiss says he wants to work with Cordae. I know y'all seen that, and I thought this was something really interesting. Y'all know I'm a big Jadakiss fan, and just looking at Jadakiss's ability to always make sure he puts in new artists, incorporate new artists in anything he does. 21 Savage and Academics sit down and talk, and they talked about a lot of stuff, some real chatty patties, man. Let's break into it and really see how that really affects us. Dr. Dre in the Super Bowl, you know I'm not finna let that slide. We gotta run down on Dr. Dre and his Super Bowl performance. We also got Nicki Minaj's husband, man. It got messy. It's a lot of tea. It's a lot of tea getting spilled with Nicki. And Moneybagg Yo gets a gift from his girlfriend, which is a plot of land. And some people are feeling a type of way, man. Let's really get into that one. And then finally, we're gonna talk about Scarface. Son giving him his kidney. Would you give your parents your kidney? What parent do you have or guardian that you was like, you know what, I get this person my last, I get this person my kidney? Because you're gonna live less for that person to live longer. So either way, man. And would you take your kid's kidney? If you was dying, would you take a kidney from your kids? All that and more on the Dapper Don Podcast. Let's go, man. So the first one I really want to talk about was the boy Jadakiss and Cordae. I really think this is an essential part of hip hop that we always try to find the next, not necessarily the next hot wave to ride, because I don't feel like that's what Jada does. Because there was a lot of bigger artists he could say, hey, this dude's the hottest. He really gave it up to Cordae, and I noticed not only he gave up to Cordae, Eminem gave it up to Cordae, and it's that feeling when you young, and I can imagine what that must have felt like for him, because he got the same thing from Pusha T, the same thing from Eminem, and it's funny because he came in kind of swinging on the old heads, right? Because he had a freestyle called Old Nigga, which was over J. Cole's 1985 Fall Off, and he was kind of standing up for his generation, and in the process of standing up for his generation, it's kind of like, you know, when your big brothers is picking on you and you finally fight back and swing back and all that picking on you stop. That's kind of where it was at, because these were the same people who were saying that the only thing this generation had to offer was a bunch of drug addict rappers, a bunch of just a bunch of artists that was killing the culture. That's usually always a statement, right? But he seemed to be one of the names that really got some respect. And for Jada to not only say this, but to tell this man girlfriend, he didn't just say this to him behind closed doors. He said this to his internationally known girlfriend, like, hey, you know, I'm feeling what he talking about on a lot of levels, in a lot of spaces. You know, he's very well respected. And I'm sure that must also feel good for Cordae, like for your lady to see that, right? Like, you ever killed it and your lady watched you do something fire? Like, you know, if you had I can't think of a situation, but if you ever been in a situation where somebody was bragging on you and your ex was sitting right there, and it was like, yeah, you know, she know your name good now. Like, you really do this because she a winner. His girlfriend is Naomi Osaka. I probably butchered that name, but his girlfriend is a world-class winner. Beat Serena Williams. So I'm sure she's going home, bring home all these trophies, and you just sitting in the bed watching her win. And you know, you want her to know you a winner too. You want her to see like, nah, you ain't the only one winning, mama. I win too. You know, I'll be out here. I'm beasting too. I'm beasting off the Riesling. Do you know I was watching The Brilliant Idiots and was that Flagrant? I forget whichever it was. And Andrew Schultz was talking about Kanye lyrics, and he said we beasting off the Riesling. The Riesling. I thought this entire time Kanye said we beasting off what we sling. I thought like, you know, the stuff that we dealing in the hood got us wildin'. I'm thinking because I think he followed that up with we beasting off the Riesling, and my dog and my nigga just made it out. I try not to use that word too much. And my dog just made it out the precinct. So I'm like, okay, he talking that street. He talking that street because Kanye talk that street sometimes, especially when he next to Jay. But anyway, Cordae got some props in front of his lady, who's already a world-class winner, so at least he ain't kind of left out in the dust with that one, because that would suck. That would definitely suck. And you also got now let's transition over to 21 Savage and this boy Academics, man. So the thing that's super interesting about 21 Savage and Academics' whole little vibe that they got going on is the fact that he told him that people pick sides in the industry, and I don't think Ag knew that, and I for sure didn't know that they pick sides. He said that when it comes to NBA YoungBoy, a lot of people don't seem to give NBA YoungBoy his props. The fact that NBA YoungBoy is always on the charts, well, not always on the charts, but he always putting up crazy numbers, dog. Like, I look at his YouTube, and man, his numbers apparently is real. Those really his numbers, and they really talk about how they don't try to promote his product and his music because of the content that he talks about. But it's like, you don't have a problem. Usually drill music, I don't think NBA YoungBoy's drill music, but it usually stops at like 10, 20 million. This dude easily in the hundreds of millions, 200 millions. Like, I don't know if he the biggest artist, but he's the biggest YouTuber. And YouTube is television. YouTube is television now. Most people I know watch YouTube more than they watch television. You're probably watching this on YouTube if you're not watching it nowhere else. Either YouTube or on iTunes. And that's really just for podcasting. Everything is on YouTube. And for you to be doing hundreds of millions, and it also shows something so interesting about this industry, that you can be that big, and I'm sure mainstream doesn't even know who NBA YoungBoy is. I'm sure they don't even have an idea on who he is. But back to the 21 Savage. 21 Savage and Academics sat down, and they was really chopping it up about how the industry worked. And they said that they're choosing sides, that the industry is choosing sides between NBA YoungBoy and Lil Durk. And this is the thing about it, that this wasn't even NBA YoungBoy's. If you know, leave a comment in the comment section, but this wasn't even NBA YoungBoy's and Lil Durk beef. This shows you how Entourage can get you into stuff, right? So to give you an idea of what happened, for those of you who just don't know, who just don't really keep up with it, I can run it down for you, give you a brief rundown. NBA YoungBoy has signed an artist named Quando Rondo. Lil Durk has signed an artist named King Von. King Von is from Chicago. Quando Rondo is from Savannah, Georgia. But an event happened in Atlanta where one of Quando Rondo's men shot King Von. Not only shot and killed King Von and several other people. Like, Dog was the Grim Reaper. I like laugh at it because it's a fucked up situation, but Dog was the Grim Reaper. He did not play with it. He didn't play with it. He stayed with it. And I had a conversation with my dog one time about like how truly dangerous the South can be. When you look at murder rates, Midwest actually puts a lot of points on the board. If we're going to talk murder rates, you talk Chicago, we talk Detroit, you talk St. Louis, a small number of black cities that put up so many murder rates. Then LA, then you get in New York City. I think we got like New Orleans and like a few other cities that put up numbers like that, but mostly those big cities is outside of the South, which is a big surprise to people because everybody thinks, oh, you put a lot of black people in one area, murder just happens. When 53% of all black people live in the South, and 53% of all murders don't happen in the South. So it can't just be a black thing. it is a cultural thing that's happening in these cities. But because our cities don't have the same gang culture, I think it causes a few people to feel very cocky and move in a certain way that isn't like appropriate. Like Atlanta's a very embracing city. You can go to Atlanta and man, everybody will show you love. Everybody will be there, and it'll be cool. And I think Von got super comfortable. I think if he was in Chicago, he would have never been moving out there without a gun. He would have never, if he didn't have one, his homies would have had one. He's the exact opposite of what like Boosie was talking about, getting shot in your own city, because you get too comfortable in your own city. R.I.P. to Nipsey, you get too comfortable in your own city. And but Von wasn't ready, and Lil Tim was. So Quando Rondo's homeboy killed King Von. So now there's a Lil Durk and NBA Youngboy beef based off of something. I don't never remember these two even having an issue. I don't never remember these two, having a problem. I know there was a problem with Tekashi. I didn't know that him and NBA Youngboy had a problem. And as a matter of fact, I believe the Asian doll girl was saying how there was no NBA Youngboy and King Von beef. I guess she had called them or whatever, but at the end of the day, bro, when it comes to that street shit, it don't matter what your ladies say. It's about what the homies say. And if the homies standing on it and they feel like, nah, all the NBA, because if they may feel like all the NBA gonna protect dog, that all the NBA gonna stand behind them, and a lot of Chirac cats is looking like, damn, you let this cat from Savannah drop the biggest, most gangsters dude from your city. And I think that's what a lot of that is, just a lot of instigating. I wouldn't see why NBA Youngboy and Lil Durk should have an issue if it ain't nothing outside of just the simple ego and the problem of, we can't look like we got chumped in front of people. Kodak Black also did an interview, and Kodak Black was like, I ain't picking sides, and that he thought he said something that I also think is kind of true, that they don't really have they're not picking sides between Lil Durk and between Lil Durk and NBA Youngboy. They just have an issue with NBA Youngboy because of just how official he laid it down. A lot of artists have occupied the space that NBA Youngboy is in right now. That kind of young artist that just organically seems to have a pulse. He doesn't have his pulse on the culture. He is the pulse of the culture. He seems to just have these young dudes in a frenzy, and a lot of people want to see how they can tap into that. Honestly, Chief Keef had that. It felt like it didn't last as long as his last. 21 Savage had it. He capitalized on it. That's the thing, though. Like, a few of them capitalized on it. But NBA Youngboy has it, and he seems like he wants to be in the streets with it, man. He seems like he's more interested in what the streets say about him. So it may not just be all on Lil Durk. He might also be feeling like, man, I can't look like I'm chump. There's a Jacksonville artist named Young and Ace. I know he was close with NBA Youngboy, and he was close with King Von. He was actually friends with King Von. I always wonder, like, how does that work? Like, do you think if you're an up-and-coming artist, you really need... You don't need it, because he be dropping videos just by himself, his own music, and it be hitting crazy. I'm a little biased because he is from the same block I'm from. But, same area. He's from Melvin. But besides that much, do you think as an up-and-coming artist, do you keep the same... Do you keep that energy like this was really your partner? You feel me? Or do you say, man, I still work with NBA Youngboy? Because NBA Youngboy was one of the first people to hit, Young and Ace when his brother, his actual little brother, his best friend, and one of his partners got killed in the drive-by. He was the only one to survive. And he was survived and thrown in jail. That's the crazy part. So... And this NBA Youngboy was the first one to hit you and be like, damn, what happened? What's up? And he did it on his gram. He did it in front of everybody, so his whole fan base will know about you. I thought that was super interesting. So I wonder how that plays out, right? Like, do you draw that line in the sand and say, nah, Von was really, really my partner? Or do you still take the same same resource? Because NBA Youngboy actually had beef with Young and Ace's rival. So if you hit me about my partner, if you show that you are concerned about my well-being, my family, my you're a big artist, you didn't have to do that, and then you also kind of have, I doubt NBA YoungBoy gives two F's about any beef he has with artists that's not at his level. But you still at least share my same common enemy. I wonder if that really matters to him. So 21 Savage said he drawing lines. Lil Durk drawing lines. I wonder if the smaller artists who need both sides actually draw the line. Would you draw the line if you was coming up and you was just looking to make it? You know, it ain't like y'all really in a gang together. I personally wouldn't draw the line in the sand. I say R.I.P. to Von and still, you know, reach out to NBA YoungBoy for if there was something that I felt like I needed as artists. So man, we in transition into more brighter news, man, and more uplifting stuff, because the culture ain't just going backwards, it's going forward, man. And we gotta talk about Dr. Dre getting the look of a century, man. The look of a century. Apparently Jay-Z put this together, man. Apparently Jay-Z was a part of putting this together, man. And one time for Jigga, man, before we get into just Dr. Dre and the Super Bowl situation, let's just give it up to Jigga, man, and really talk about how he has reversed the stigma of New York City, just executive New York City artists. Right, there was always the notion that New York City artists just wanted it to themselves. They only wanted to keep everything isolated. They would only look out for each other. The thing about Jigga, man, dog, he don't seem to do the same thing. He seems to have a whole different point of view. He gets a Super Bowl commercial where he can get hip hop there, and the first people he put on, although it was LA, so it's just a layup. It's an obvious layup, but the first people he brings to the Super Bowl is Dr. Dre. Now let me ask you this though. Before I get all hyped, before I get all excited, because I'm excited. I grew up on that Shady Aftermath G-Unit era. That raised me, you hear me? Before I get all excited, let's also look at Jay-Z though. Now, Jigga Man does the same 1-2 step. He did this at the Grammys. He protested the Grammys. He seen that the culture was moving in one direction. He took the flag and said, I'll lead us. And then when it came time for us to be like, all right, let's deliver our final blow, he says, hey, wait, let's do business with them. Let's not burn the bridge altogether. When it came time to set the bridge on fire, Jay was like, no, let's make it stronger. And a lot of people don't like that Jay play it like that. Like, I got a partner, he from up north too. He's slick. He always looking for the ins and the outs of it. You know, he New York City slick, but these big city people, boy, they say you gotta watch your wallet in New York City. They clever. He hijacked the movement. He was like, okay, yeah, Jay, yeah. You been getting people out of jail. You been standing up for the culture. Go ahead. Man, that man went ahead and he probably making hundreds of millions. He on his second billion. You know, he said, nah, I ain't selling title. We keeping title, man. He sold title the minute he could get $1 billion off of it. He paid 52. He got $1 billion off of it. That boy really a boss, man. That man really a boss, for real. I gotta learn to play the game like that. I'll read a book by a guy named Pimpin' Ken. Pimpin' Ken said deception is a part of game. Strategize and deceive everyone. That's what Pimpin' Ken says. That's what real game is. I don't know if that's something that I necessarily agree with, that, you know, you just kind of go with it. You just go along with it. I think sometimes you have to really look at who you screwing over. I don't think Jay had malicious intentions, but I don't think his intention was as pure as he said it was. But anyway, yeah, it worked out. And here it is, because we're all going to be watching the Super Bowl. No one's talking about protesting Super Bowl, even though they killed Travis Scott for doing it however long ago. Nobody's talking about protesting now. And we got, not only do we have Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, you also got K-Dot performing. Lord knows where K-Dot has been. We don't know where he's been or what he has done with his time, but he's been patiently in the cut. I wonder if he's been writing for real though, because I heard his verse on Baby Keem, and I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know if that sounds like a pen that's just been busy. I don't know if that's a pen that's really been busy. You talking about leaving TDE? You might have felt like there was all kind of problems. You might have had different kind of, he might have had a creative differences over that, where Dre probably is like, hey, whatever works. So clearly he's not just just bucking on his whole deal. He looked like he still has a relationship with Aftermath. Aftermath still look like he can do something for him. So anyway, yeah, you got Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. Now, quick question: when does Kendrick Lamar perform? That's my first question. Do you open it up? Because I'm just sitting there thinking, what song would Kendrick Lamar do? Because you don't want to be in between My Name Is, Family Affair, Gin and Juice, and California Love. I don't know what song he wants to be in the middle of that with. But you in the middle of LA though. You're in LA. That might matter something. That might actually matter something. That might give you a little edge because you young LA. You baby LA. But this big dog LA right here. It's Dre and them. And the fact that Dre has Eminem at the Super Bowl. That Dre has... This was just the biggest crew ever. And they're going to still do DRE. They're going to do that. Because I was actually silly enough debating if they're still going to do still DRE. Jay-Z orchestrated this. It has Snoop and Dre in it. It's probably one of the most relevant songs. They're probably going to end on still DRE because Jay-Z wrote it. Yeah, that's another factor in that. Jay-Z wrote it. So still DRE getting performed. Family Affairs is still getting performed. You think Kill My Vibe? They may do K-Dot Kill My Vibe because he had Jay remix on that one. I'm not saying that Jay curated the list. I know he's gonna let Dre do that because hopefully Dre, even with all of Jay-Z's grandiose opinions of himself, he at least has to know that there's only one Dr. Dre. Let Dr. Dre curate it. Dr. Dre ain't nobody's puppet. I already know he gonna curate it. Now, here's the problem. Here's my question: Is the visual gonna be as good as the audio? Now, we all know when it comes to the sound, to the music, the way Dre's music sounds, it's amazing. Now, is the visual going to be the same? Like, you remember the Beijing, when they did the Olympics, how they had just like this beautiful coordination. And I remember like everybody was talking about it. Everybody was like, man, it was the best coordinated Olympics ever. And my brother was even telling me, he's like, nah, that joint was fire. I wonder if it's going to be Beijing fire. You feel me? Is it going to be Beijing hot? I think Dre and them got it, man. Dre and them got it. Snoop going to come out. They probably going to end on Dre and Snoop. They probably going to end on Dre and Snoop. But Mary's going to come out there. Now, Mary... It depends on what Mary you get, because Mary can show up to the biggest event and look like she don't even want to beat her. You feel me? Mary, we always got to make sure we checking on Mary. We got to always make sure we checking on Mary. Because Mary looked like she always got that look like, I throw all this shit away right now. Man, she always going through it, man. She be going through it. So hopefully Mary's in a good space. They're not just dragging her out there in front of her, because she just dropped a documentary and it really showed like her emotional state and just how it's always been up and down. It's always been. Sometimes you can look at somebody's life and think, man, it should be so beautiful, so easy, and it's not that. I remember Michelle Williams was just on Charlemagne, the God Honest Truth. She was talking about just in 2018, she was thinking about committing suicide. Like, you 1/3 of the greatest woman group that I think of my knowledge, not even just my generation, of my knowledge. There's other groups I may just not know about. But in my opinion, the greatest. Because Beyonce is the greatest to me. So yeah, man, Dr. Dre is finna slide, bro. Dr. Dre is finna slide. He gonna be at the Super Bowl. What team you think gonna be at the Super Bowl? And would you not go to the Super Bowl just so you can sit at the Super Bowl and watch the halftime game? Because imagine that. I wonder if you can hit a halftime game from the locker room. It'll be fire, man. I know it's going to be fire. I know it's going to be that hot stuff. But let's talk about something that ain't so hot stuff, man, that I don't really think is hitting on nothing. And this is Nicki Minaj and her husband, Kenneth Petty, man. You played yourself. How the fuck I find the applause button now? Now I know that's the applause button. I'm never going to hit the applause button for something that wasn't applause worthy. That was on me. That was my mess up. What's this button? There it is. Kenneth Petty, my friend, come to the front of the congregation. You are going to take this L. So apparently, if y'all don't know who Nicki Minaj is, she's everything. That sums it up. And she has a husband who I don't know nothing about, but it really feel like a downside for everybody killed her when she was dating Mink. Oh, Mink's a hood rat, Mink's trouble, but at least he did something. He had a job. Sister, stop bossing up, getting where you want to get in life, and then getting these men who don't do nothing. I know, and they following us. They following suit. That's what men do, right? We get powerful, we get in a good position, then we go and get like the waitress at Waffle House because we just want somebody that's all wrapped up in us. And it only makes sense that a woman would want the same thing, but she could have got anybody, bro. She doubled back to the past, man. If she's gonna do that, she might as well have took Safari back. She might as well, I guarantee you, Safari will jump back. You feel me? Will jump back at the opportunity to be able to, you feel me, get back in good graces with her. So anyway, Kenneth Petty is a sex offender. He's a street dude too. Like he don't put bodies in, he don't put in work. And apparently Kenneth Petty was arrested for sexually assaulting. Like when I say sexually assaulting, I don't mean like he propped her bra strap and it was a technicality, or he was 19 and she was 15, so a statutory. No, this was a legit assault. This was a legit rape. You feel me? And according to her, and she kept this same energy, bro. And this is why I'm kind of inclined to believe her, because she kept that same energy, dog. She was on the real, and she explained that she was walking down the street. Stranger walked up on her. What she felt was a gun. Walked her into, I guess, some abandoned building area or something. I don't have the whole tea. I'm not a tea type of guy. But listen, laid her down like a rug. This joint, it was that. And she ran. She didn't wait 2, 3, 4, 5, nothing. She ran to the school and told them what happened. And they arrested him, and the courts found him guilty. He told her parents that they was already having relationships. She said she wasn't. And everybody like bring up that this was a white woman. And that don't really matter worth a hill of beans, because bro, you still attacked her. She has the right to her own body. And but it's because it's black people. We are a little what could possibly be the word? We are skeptical of any white woman just coming out saying, "Oh, this black guy attacked me," because a lot of times we've seen historically that to be a lie, and she just didn't like the she didn't like the social look of it. Looked like she laid with an animal. You feel me? Like he was less of a man, and she just got caught in the throes of passion with a lesser human. And or sometimes, like just historically, the dad didn't like it. The dad didn't like it, and the dad overreacted. And so when we ever hear about, like these kind of interracial issues, we take this all in a grain of salt. Or like legitimately, lawsuit wise, black men get exonerated through DNA like more than any other race of guys, where the DNA wasn't even black. Either it wasn't a black guy or it wasn't the right black guy. And perfect example, the Central Park 5. So this was probably around the same time as the exonerated 5. So we really taking everything into consideration. We taking everything into consideration when we say that. But the reason why he ain't in that same situation, because he admitted to doing this. He admitted to doing this, and she said it was an attack. He said that they already messed around. Even you can still mess around with somebody and it still be an attack. But she's saying that is not the case. You all the way wild out. You was all the way in the wrong. You was all the way a predator. And now, to this day, he has registered as a sex offender. He moved to LA. He felt he didn't need to register as a sex offender, and he got arrested for it. Brody, that ain't nobody problem but yours. That ain't nobody problem but yours. you gotta still register as a sex offender. Apparently, he tried to throw shorty like 20 bands or something to get her to recant her story, and it's like, nah, dog. Whatever really happened is super messy, and apparently Nikki. And they kind of trying to intimidate her. But Nikki was the main one calling Cardi out about some guys coming up and trying to rough up a stripper because Cardi had beef with her, right? And she sent guys up there. Well, you got to keep that same energy, man, because your husband just did that to the person he allegedly raped. Not even allegedly, he was convicted. The person he raped in 1994, who's still keeping the same story all these years later. Man, and they say threatening her daughter too. Come on, man. I'll give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I can't really just jump on here and say, oh, this one person has this or this one person has that, but it looked bad, G. It looked bad. It don't look fly. It don't look like it's working for you, my guy. So, I wish Nikki I always wish Nikki the best. I always said Nikki one of those legends that the cultures need. And, Kenneth Petty, get it together, my friend. But speaking of somebody holding a lady down, hold up, you finna get the round of applause. Shout out to Ari Fletcher. You did that. You was a queen, mama. You did that. You bought this man some lot of land. Come on, man. A lot of land. I think 29 acres. The white man ain't even give us 29 acres, but the black woman gave him brother 29 acres. You feel me? Now, they always been known for sharing expensive gifts. That's kind of like their way of branding their relationship. Here's this nice car. Here's this nice watch. All this little others. You feel me? All this little other stuff. And, they be spoiling each other. It be fly, though. I like it. It be fly. They be spoiling each other. So she bought him a lot of land, bro. And she bought him 29 acres. And people had something to say about that. Out of all the expensive gifts, now, this coming from the same Birkin bag me babies. The same Birkin bag babies is now saying, girl, you doing wife stuff, and that's girlfriend stuff. How buying me land is wife stuff? It takes away from the gift. As a matter of fact, as I think about it, it's a better gift as a girlfriend than as a wife. Because it's like, wait, you bought me land as a wife, so you pretty much, that's not a gift. Now that I'm thinking about it, if I'm your husband and you buy me land, that's not a gift. That's not a gift. If I'm your husband, you buy me land and we divorce, you're taking half the land. You're taking half of it back. So you bought you some land. You bought us some land. Let me say that. You could have did that on a Tuesday. It would be all the same. You can't be like, oh, I just bought you some land, babe. But the fact that you bought land, and it's like that appreciates, he can leave that to the kids, man, that's lit. And the thing about land is everybody hears about buying land, and it's the biggest turnoff of all real estate purchases because we like, nah, bro, give me an apartment building. Give me something I can start cashing out on. We don't understand the fact that you can pass land down and you can't make no more land. Land is land. That's just it. The land that we have is the land that we got. You're not getting any more land. You can make more cars. You can make more apartments. You cannot make more land. You have to have land. Honestly, all of that stuff comes from the land. The resources to build it, everything that's needed, like it comes from the land. So the purchase of land is a big deal, bro. And you can get a lot of acres for cheap. Man, you can get a lot of acres for cheap. We got some land. My family has some land. Apparently how it works is the eldest of the eldest inherits the land. So I'm talking about this is out of my whole family. Like family's so big, I don't even know them all. This is how it works. So the eldest of the eldest inherits the land. I forget, let's say my great-great-grandfather. He had a daughter. He passed the land down to his eldest daughter. Then he passed the land. Then she passed it down to her eldest daughter, which was my mother's grandmother. I'm sure I'm messing up right now, but whatever. My mother's grandmother. And my mother's mother, my grandmother, didn't inherit the land. And my mother is her eldest, so she inherits the land. And you would think I'm her eldest, I inherit the land, but no, I am not her eldest. My brother DeMarcus is her eldest. So he inherits the land, and then my nephew inherits the land, and it skips right past me, baby. It skips right over Dapper Don. There's nobody asks how I feel. Anyway, I'm tweaking. I'm wilding. Yeah. So we got a lot of land. We got some land. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it all goes, but yeah, family got some land, and I don't think you can sell it. I'm gonna get my own piece of land. And I ain't gonna pass it down to the eldest. I'm gonna pass it down to the youngest. I'm gonna pass it down to the youngest. Who does that? I don't think that's possible, right? Because the youngest keep going. The eldest is a fixed position. Yeah, the eldest is a fixed position. The youngest, because if it goes down to the youngest, the person can have a child at the last minute and be like, oh wait, now this person gets the land? So yeah, you probably should give it to the eldest. It makes sure. It makes perfect sense. It's in perfect symmetry. It's in perfect symmetry with the universe. I went to go see Candyman. I only thought about it because he said the baby would return in perfect symmetry. This new Candyman, I was not feeling it, dog. I was not feeling it. I liked the way it was shot. It had all the elements I like. It was a beautiful black couple. Bro was swole. Shorty had thick. They was getting money. They was happy. I liked how it all looked in the beginning. Her brother was hilarious. He was passionate about his craft, and he said what he felt. He didn't let people just shade him. And man, oh man, it was a terrible movie. But whatever. I don't want that to stop you from going to support black cinema. But we gotta make sure we gotta hold black cinema to. You actually gotta also have a good movie too, though. You can't just have a show about whatever. You actually gotta have a good movie. I didn't know there was so many Candyman sequels. I didn't know there was so many Candyman sequels. They wanted a prequel though. But, you know, Candyman was fire. Candyman straight. He was straight. You know, everything is everything, as they say. Everything is everything. I wasn't even going to do a review on that one. So, I'm going to get up out of here. Just one more thing, man. I got to talk about, man. We got to talk about this Scarface situation before we push on out of here, man. Scarface needed a kidney, and he went on social media and let everybody know. Now, a kidney is not an easy thing to get. It takes a lot of effort if you're looking for yourself a kidney. You're going to need friends, and you're going to need resources. He has all of those things. He still couldn't find a kidney. Well, when push came to shove, he ended up getting a kidney from his son. Now, let me ask you this question. Would you take a kidney from your son? Would you take a kidney from your daughter? Would you take a kidney from your niece, nephew, if you needed it to live? Now, this is the same guy who made a song, and this is so eerie, right? It's so scary because this is the same guy who made the song, Never Seen a Man Cry Till I Seen a Man Die. This is the same guy who said this. And now he's in that position where he said, well, what did he say? He says, stop fighting the Reaper, just relax and let it go. You can fight until you try, but you will still die. And now he's in that position. And instead of him dying on his deathbed, as his stories, as many of his dark stories ended, he ended up getting a kidney from his son. His son said, this gives me more time with my father. That's touching, man. That's so touching. That's so enriching. That's so enlightening, because I wouldn't give Kenny my thumb. You hear me? I wouldn't give him my index finger. I wouldn't give him, if I was told, hey, you got a third kidney you're not doing nothing with. Yeah, he can't get that one. I'm saving that one for somebody that matter. Stepdad called me for a kidney, man. I'm gonna help you look around before I just make the decision if I'm gonna give you one. But he kept it hella real. I ain't gonna take nothing from him. But man, I thought that was super interesting. It was a heartwarming story of black dads and their sons. And let this be a lesson to all you black dads out there. Stay in your kids' life, because it may extend your life. Right? It may extend, because remember, that carbon copies of you, so you can always borrow body parts from them. And when you die, you can give it back. I think you can give it back. But anyway, also, Creepy lives on. You remember? That's what he said on my block. That's what his nickname was, Creepy. I wouldn't have told too many people that. But, yeah, man. This boy Dapper Don Dez, it's another one in the bucket, man. Another one in the bucket. I promise I have fun doing these things. I promise I have fun. But, man, make sure you like, subscribe to the podcast, and I'm going to be back. I'm gonna be back, man. I'm gonna be back every so often, man. Until the next time, I see you. Yeah.